Hello, this is a demo of some improvements to the idle handling or idle lockout of Cockpit sessions. Let's log into a session. And now this one has a idle timeout of 1 minute. That's the smallest value. And let's first just wait for it to expire. And I show you what is wrong with the current implementation. So this is now the current released version of Cockpit, and later on we will switch to the proposed change. I hope that will work, and then we can see the improvement. So here now, after 30 seconds, you get the countdown running for the last 30 seconds. And what is wrong with this is now if I stop the JavaScript in the browser, I've done this here now artificially with the debugger, then Cockpit stops counting the seconds. It stops counting down. This might look artificial, but apparently it really happens in the real world that browsers decide to stop executing JavaScript in the Cockpit tab. And especially, of course, when the session is really idle or you have minimized the window or done something. And we want the idle timeout to work in that case as well. So now I've been talking long enough. 20 seconds should be over. Let's continue. JavaScript execution. And it is as if almost no time has passed for Cockpit because it's just counting 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi with timer ticks. And if JavaScript doesn't execute, it stops counting. So the first improvement is, of course, to not do the counting, but to now I have to, in the background, I'm switching the code. Let's see, and now we really look at the real time to say how late it is already. So let's just log in again and see what happens now. If I've done everything correctly, this is now the new version of Cockpit that runs the improved code. We have to wait 30 seconds again. I can maybe check if that has really worked. I think it might have. Let's see. Okay, here comes the countdown again. I'll stop the page and let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what Cockpit thinks, how much time has passed. And you can see it goes down. And if we would now stop this long enough, then you would get logged out immediately when JavaScript starts running again. But there's one more improvement, and we need the terminal to look at that. So now we look at the journal messages of the Cockpit web server. Here's some debugging output that will, of course, disappear in the released version. And now the web server also participates in this whole thing. And you see if I create some action here in Cockpit, then the timer will reset again. And if, yeah, let's wait for the countdown to start. And if we stop JavaScript long enough, then without these changes in the web server, then the session would remain active or established until JavaScript runs again and realizes that the 30-second countdown has elapsed, and then JavaScript will close the session. But with the change in the web server, now the web server also participates, and if the timeout elapses before JavaScript can close the session, then the web server will close it forcefully. So now we can watch here what happens. The timer will not be reset, and eventually we get logged out here. And still a little bit of JavaScript should run when this happens to clean out the cookie in the browser and do some other housekeeping in the browser to give you a clean logout with a clean indication that this was because of the idle session. And let's see if that works. So you see, I have not stopped all the JavaScript, so the actual iframe here has noticed that it got disconnected. You can also see it here in the logs that the session was idle for too long and you got logged out. But this doesn't look so nice. And if we continue the JavaScript execution here, then you immediately go to the logout screen with the clear message that you have been logged out due to inactivity. So those are the two pieces. JavaScript is better about knowing what time it is, and the web server can pull an emergency stop when the JavaScript doesn't run for a long time. Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot.